Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're going to do a kind of a brief journal update. Not going to really get into a whole lot of specific things or any particular topics, but I like to track where I am progress-wise versus last year or previous years, and also have kind of a similar time frame for future years that I can look back on. So we'll get to the hoop houses and see how the plants are, and kind of go over a little bit of what we got going on right now. So the first hoop we're going to come up to is going to be the 2144.5 Rotoball. I have these side by side planted. I've got a backup of one of my 1481s in here. I more or less just got it out of the house and out of the grow room and just have it in here in a pot, but wait until all the plants are laid down before I chuck it into the compost pile. 2144.5 Rotoballs are doing good. Some of my best plants so far. Color's excellent. Growing really well. I did have a mole that was making tunnels in my patch, and one that actually went right around the front of these pumpkin plants about 4 or 5 days after I planted them. Had to collapse that tunnel and try and track him down. I did end up getting him in a trap that is set up for catching them while they're underground, so I was able to get rid of him. Hopefully he doesn't have any local family who like this area. But also I had seen some voles. They're kind of like a field mouse, but they travel along the tunnels of moles. I'll try and clip in a video here and show you one that I caught on the camera in the hoop house that was traveling around, and I set 2 mouse traps with peanut butter. And also what I did is I have poison that I had set up for them, and they come with a hole in the center, so I just screwed that down to the board there so that I can watch it on my camera and pay attention to see if anything's chewing on it. But that's hoop house 1. In hoop house 2, we have the 1707.5 Caspers. Both plants are doing good except for this one. It had a funky leaf at the beginning, and it looked kind of like a third cot leaf. Started to grow out of it and do okay, but now as it grows, I can see that it definitely, let me zoom in here. Yep, it's a double vine there, so that one will be getting pulled eventually, probably in the next day or so. I'll get that pulled and just get it out of there and run with the one on the left, which is doing just fine. Everything looks good on it. Good color and no issues. Again, stuck a mouse trap in the opposite corner, and also have one of those little bait stations over there for poison. So clean up any little critters that might be around and make sure they're not tunneling and killing the roots. Go on to the next hoop. So I figured I'd show these. They're little mole traps, and they kind of work like scissors underground. They got a pair on each side, and as the mole travels through, it hits a little trigger as it bumps up, and the scissors close. So that's how I caught the mole yesterday. And you can get them on Amazon. I don't have a link to them, but it's called Mole Eliminator is what the tag says. And pretty much you put them where there's high traffic areas. I've got 2 intersections here and then a tunnel that goes out that way, so I put a second one there. And then what I'll do is I stomp down a couple of the tunnels in different spots just to see if they try and reopen them back up. So hopefully I just had the one, but more than likely I'm sure that there's another one in the area. All right, hoop house 3. It's kind of hard to see with the sunlight, but did something a little different that I don't normally do and I don't normally suggest. But I got 2 different genetics side by side. Reason being is this was an extra 2144.5 Rotoball. Didn't need it, but it's a great plant. And I have a 2560 Ginger, the Maverick seed. And I ended up having 2 of those that came up really well, and it's a proven seed. So I have one in this hoop and one in the hoop behind me. And I'm only keeping this extra 2144.5 Rotoball just as a backup in case that one doesn't lay down. but right now it's doing pretty good. And on this hoop, I'm all in on this 2560 Ginger, the Maverick seed. This is the last hoop I have over here. I had a backup plant there, but it was really heat sensitive, so either the root system just didn't take hold, or genetics were of that it didn't like the heat, and I didn't have time to really mess with it and let it keep wilting and doing that. So this plant's looking nice and healthy. Hopefully everything goes well, it lays down fine, but we'll have two 2560 Gingers in the patch this year. All right, now the overall patch. A lot of grass, a lot of weeds, a lot of things going on. I tilled this area already and amended, let everything come up. Not that big a deal. I'm just going to till as I go. I've done it in years before and it's been fine. One thing you'll see is these huge trenches. So I had a trenching machine. I ended up getting power run down here, and I trenched to be able to get that underground power set. And I figured since I had an all-day rental, I'd go ahead and run that trencher all along the edges of the patch, as well as right down the center where the main vine goes, and then crisscross across the patch, so that as the water comes in these trenches, it travels downhill. It's been fantastic. I've seen pretty much the soil profile. I've been able to see where the water's traveling and where the heavy spots are when it rains. So it's been awesome to be able to see that. Obviously these will be closed up, they're not going to be open, but just kind of figure I'd show you guys that. Something that I may do in the future, I may rent that trencher again, just to do something similar, or do it throughout the patch in different areas. But I'd love to have had enough perlite available and on hand to lay some perlite in those trenches, and then incorporate them, or even have perlite that went into the native soil here and then backfilled, just so at least there'd be good drainage in those areas consistently, instead of just letting that backfill and possibly compact. So just thoughts on that. I'm really excited and happy based on what I'm seeing that came out of those holes. With the trencher going 2.5 to 3 feet deep, I did hit bedrock on the probably lower third of my patch, so I know exactly how deep it is before I hit bedrock. But just looking at the soil, it's not bad. There's a little bit of clay in there, a little bit of rock, but overall, not as bad as I had anticipated when I thought of ripping that up and seeing what the subsoil was. So I'm going to go ahead and call the video there, guys. Thanks for following along and watching. Again, this was just a real quick video just to see where I'm at this time of year, kind of pace myself against prior years, and maybe provide some information and insight in the future when I go to look back at it and see what I did or could have done differently. So catch you guys on the next one. Hopefully we'll have the plants laid down here in about a week or less, and be off to the races, as they say, and running. So catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.